take a motion to adjourn the executive session and open the public meeting. Do I have a motion? Trustee Bennett, second. Trustee Rizzo, all in favor? Unanimous. Now we'll do the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have prayer.
This evening, I would like to pray for the children that they were separated from their parents on the border. I also want to pray for those that extended a helping hand. And at the same time, I really would like to encourage the community to be a little bit more kind and understandable of the different opinions that we all share in different topics. I think that America continues to be a land of immigrants. I think that we all have family members that at one point or another enter this country as an immigrant, and we need to be mindful and respectful of each other as we speak and use social media. It was a little overwhelming reading a lot of the comments that this topic arise and some of the debates that they went on social media. So I pray for us to be more understandable of each other, more kind to each other, and to show each other more empathy and respect each other's opinions. Amen.
Amen.
Just ask you to stand. We have three really valiant members of our community that passed on in the last few days. Stu Swan was a 55-year member of the Dobbs Ferry Fire Department and was captain. Also Mary Damon, who was a valued member of the community, involved in many, many different things. So we just have a moment of silence. Okay. We have good news for you. I want to consider a motion to promote police officers Porfirio Rodriguez to the rank of detective on June 27, 2018, at an annual salary of $126,524, as recommended by Police Chief Rick Bordera and myself to administer. I will administer the award. So Rick, do you want to come up and say a few words?
You have to take care of the motion first.
Take a motion. Trustee Sullivan, second. Trustee Rizzo, all in favor? Unanimous. Great.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Board of Trustees. Okay. How's everyone doing tonight? Paul, I'll just keep this pretty short and quick. Actually, Paul noted to me earlier that 20 years ago and 7 days prior, Paul actually stood here and took the oath of office as a police officer in the village of Dobbs Ferry. And it's kind of funny. It's been a long road, but Paul has demonstrated throughout his career here to be very loyal, hardworking, not just with his coworkers, but to the community at large. Paul began his, like I said, he began his career, but long time ago. He goes back, his full name is Porfirio, but we know him affectionately as Paul. He began his career with the Orange County Sheriff's Office. It's actually when we first met, 1994, I think it was, before he transferred to the, during his time with the Dobbs Ferry Police Department, he has served as a long-term member with the town of Greenberg SWAT team. In addition, he is one of the original members of the Dobbs Ferry Traffic Unit that was put into effect earlier this year. And I have to tell you, this decision as far as you becoming a detective was a lot of thought, because you really have done such a tremendous job in the traffic enforcement unit. I was actually worried about the numbers that we are going to lose
Yeah.
I
am.
But, you know, Jess, that your hard work, I think, is gonna translate very well. You've shown yourself to be very good with your peers, as is evidence if you take a look, and if the residents here take a look, show support of the members of the police department who came out for you. That says much. I believe you're gonna make a fine example, and the hard work that you've helped me, you're gonna show Lieutenant Coster, and it's gonna be a great team. So I'm really very proud of you, and I look forward to working with you now as a detective, and I wish you the very best. That's all I have.
Thank you, Chief. I'll just say a few words. I've gotten to know Paul over the last couple of years, and more recently as mayor. But anyway, I was talking, my oldest son is an officer in upstate New York, and he was down visiting my youngest son, was home, and they asked me, what's the big thing on the agenda tonight? So I said, it's gonna be a great night. Paul Rodriguez is getting promoted. So both of my sons said, Paul Rodriguez, we know Paul. So I said, oh, how did you know Paul? And my youngest son said, well, I think a couple of years ago when he was getting his, he just got his driver's license, he goes, Paul pulled me over. So that was the start of his fate with the traffic. So he got you started on that. So my oldest son said, I know Paul too. I said, why didn't you know? He goes, he's the big strong guy. He goes, he could run. I said, how do you know that? He goes, because he chased us out of Sheridan State. But anyway, Paul's done a terrific job. He headed up, I think it's our first traffic
That is correct.
chief, and I think it's an outstanding job. And, you know, one of the things that I know the board agrees on, that safety and security of our citizens, pedestrians, bikers, and people driving are extremely important to all of us. And we have to do everything we can to help people through education, engineering, and to enforce them. And Paul's done a great job heading up that group. So thank you, Paul, for everything. I know the board is very proud as well as I am of what you've done. So we'll do the other chorus, and then maybe you could say a few words to introduce you. Do you solemnly swear? Do you solemnly swear? To support the Constitution of the United States.
To support the Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of New York.
And the Constitution of the State of New York.
Carry out the duties of detective
Carry out the duties of detective
of the Dobbs Ferry Police Department
of the Prospect Police Department
to the best of your ability.
to the best of my ability. Board and the chief for giving me this opportunity. I want to thank my colleagues for coming out, showing their support. And I got my family and their support. Dora's boyfriend, my daughter, my cousin's wife, my godson, my son, and my girlfriend are here. It's a big moment for us, and again, thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, we want to I don't hurt anybody.
Smile, buddy. There you go.
Good.
I don't know, Rick. I think we have the same problem with adjustments. This is interior.
Yeah, we are.
Very lopsided.
Get everybody?
Another smile, buddy. Excellent.
She just went to the pool. Oh, that's so nice. No, it's just, I wasn't doing a party for her, but she's that, it's been social care. I was like, oh, maybe her friends can be here. She was, she was Brendan's moving. We just had a family barbecue. We had a family barbecue. And they went to, the camp.
And get me somebody else to try.
Okay,
I hope I don't get too much of a beating tonight.
that was fun.
Yes, it was.
Very nice.
You should have pinned the badge on
It's a good
it.
start.
You should have pinned the badge on it. You could have done it faster.
You know, I took a look at it. That could have been a danger, but I didn't want to lose anyone. Okay. Next, we have a presentation. We're going to have to, oh, you put it back already. Wow, that's quick. Liz, thank you. Put the mic and podium back. Presentation by the Friends of the Dobbs Ferry Public Library. Vicki Jones, thank you, Vicki.
Yeah,
Thank you. Hi, my name is Vicki Jones. Earlier this month, I was elected president of the Friends of the Dobbs Ferry Library. I would like to begin by thanking the mayor and the village board of trustees, especially trustee Nicole Sullivan, who is the liaison for the library board, for your support of our organization. The Friends Executive Board is excited to be working in collaboration with the board, the library board of trustees, and our new library director, Elizabeth Hobson. Before I go into our complete presentation, I'd like to just pause for a second and go rogue and just tell you, this is very exciting for me because 10 years ago today, I received a proclamation from Mayor Bova calling it Vicki Jones Day because I had volunteered over 20 years of my life to work for the library.
Oh, wow.
So after a 10-year break, I figured I would help them again because the library is a very, very special thing for me. And I'm hoping to find other people in the community who feel that importance of our local library and want to help join the Friends of the Library. It's because of my involvement with the Friends of the Library that I became a professional fundraiser and worked at Weill Cornell Medicine doing fine giving. And ironically, today I spent the day with a woman who created a $100,000 endowed clinical librarian for the Weill Cornell Library. And we took her on rounds. So libraries continue to be an important part of my life. It's where I first met so many of my friends in the community through our League of Women Voters meetings and taking my children to the library and teaching people how to knit and crochet. It's a wonderful thing to me, and it has such wonderful memories, and I hope other people would like to join me in helping us revitalize the Friends. So now I'm going back on script. Okay. I'm here today to inspire and motivate many of our Dobbs Ferry residents to Teresa Walsh, Diana Shrew, Lori Gerais, who donated her graphic design skills, and Sandra Olson Merrill has developed a new website with the capability of accepting online secured membership and donations. I'm happy to report that Sandra Brennan will serve as our secretary and Sandra Olson Merrill will serve as our treasurer. We are happy to announce that Fred Brova, Elias Cohen, Stan Legan, and Bruce Wolfson have volunteered to serve on the Endowment Finance Committee. It's the first time in many years that the Endowment Finance Committee has been together, and we look forward to seeing them in action. This is our website. Okay, who we are and what we do. As you can see from this website here, the mission of the Friends of the Dobbs-Ferry Library. I'm gonna have to pull this closer. Sorry. The Friends of the Dobbs-Ferry Library is a non-profit organization comprised of community residents like you who share a commitment to providing, preserving, and a strong local library. Our members and donors provide support for the library through advocacy, awareness, and fundraising work. Our mission includes informing and engaging the community in our library resources, services, and needs, sponsoring and engaging volunteer services for the library, supporting staff enrichment, sponsoring cultural programs and exhibits, and purchasing items for the library above and beyond what the library's ordinary budget provides, encouraging sustained gifts to the library. We really want to build our endowment. By building our endowment, we'll be able to provide perpetual support for the library, and we feel that that is a very crucial need for our library. I'm not going to read all of these bullets here. I'm just going to ask you please check out our website. It's important to support our library because it's lifelong learning. It's a community-based atmosphere, and it empowers people to transform and change their lives. The Brookings Institute has recently defined public libraries as a third place. They serve to build and strengthen communities, meaning those places that are neither one's home, which is your first place, or your workplace, which is your second place. And a range of third places are your church, your beauty salons, the historical society. It's an important building in our community where many of the residents center around. Our library is an important third place in our community in that our librarians have gradually taken on other functions well beyond just lending out books. Last year, the Dobbs-Ferry Recreation Center closed because of structural problems. As a result, our library functioned as a recreation center for senior citizens, providing yoga and exercise classes, showing movie, and other increased programming, including helping with the preparation of tax reports. The libraries didn't really do that, but they help people come in to provide that service for our community. Why support your library? We are reaching out to you through a new website which we've developed, which you can download information about becoming a member. You can find out ways to give. Most people may not know this, but you can, besides writing a check or giving online, you can also give appreciated stock. When you give appreciated stock, you get a big tax benefit and you don't have to accept capital gains on it. So if you want to know more about those kind of gifts, that's what I do professionally. So I can tell you that. But you can check out our Ways to Give page and that will tell you more about it. So in addition to building our new website, you may have received the newsletter that we recently sent out. We had a table at the jazz concert recently. There's a page on our website where people can sign up to volunteer. You can either, if you don't want to sign up on the website, you can also stop at the library and leave your name and number or email, and we'll be happy to reach out to you. This is the Ways to Give page that I told you about. Also, many people have work for companies. They may have a matching gift, so we're able to facilitate processing that paperwork. So you might give us be generous, let's say $100. And if you have a matching grant, we can get $200 for that, so keep that in mind. We've been busy building a web page and the Facebook page. And our Facebook page has a donate button. So if you feel like donating, you can just click on that and donate right away. You can also, it has a wonderful quality where people may be inclined to do like I did. I'm on a monthly payment. I give every month with $10. It's not going to break me, but it's more than I typically have given in the past. Okay, so, and there's always kind of updates about what's going on, what's at the library, who's there, all kinds of things. And we also have an Instagram page. So you can follow us on our Instagram page or our Facebook page. So, and as you see, there's a lovely copy of the mayor's newsletter where he announced that we too had a newsletter, and he was so great, and I think Christy, you helped on this too, that you provided a live link so that people could automatically go in, open up the newsletter, read it there, click the donate button, and send in a check. Okay, so that's basically my presentation. I hope that somebody will consider volunteering and helping us. Please feel free to check with the library staff, and they'll be happy to help you contact the friends. Our volunteers will be meeting in the beginning of September to form lots of other committees we have. We need help sorting books, we need help delivering books to Homeward Bound, all kinds of help. Just a little job, the volunteer would be great.
Great, Vicki. Thank you very much. I want to say a few words, if you don't mind. I see Elizabeth is here, and Sandra, and a few others. I've noticed in the last, since Elizabeth and you have started, and I always love the word collaboration, but started working together. Elizabeth, you've done an absolutely fantastic job in the library, and Vicki has, with Sandra and some other people, revitalized the Friends organization. And it's important that we all, we're all in this together. We have to work together to make the library and the village successful. And I can see where that's taking place. The library, and I've said this before, that I love the library. And I love books, although Larry said you should try opening them up once in a while. And I've done that. I've taken his advice. But anyway, it means a lot to the community, and at all levels, from kids to young adults to adults. There's programs for everyone. There's a comedy night now. There's movie night. Things during the day for the kids, and even I think infants. Right? We got it all. We got it all covered now. So it's great. And I just took a check out of my pocket to the Friends. Now I'm a book lover. Thank you, Larry. And I want to give that to you. So I encourage I know that there was a little endowment, right, left to the library, but most of the funding for the Friends comes from contributions within the community. So, it's important that if we want a library, help out, and if everybody gives a little bit, I think, if I remember the numbers right, there was 77 that contributed.
So far, we just started our membership campaign.
Right.
We have 78 as of today. We also have 100% participation by the library board. We also have...
Wow, fantastic.
Some of the staff in the village have also been very generous in supporting us. And this will help us, grow. I mean, we are so fortunate that Sandra could develop that website for us.
Right.
It saved us thousands of dollars. That Lori has dedicated her time and energy to redoing the newsletter for us, coming up with some great graphics. And, we are just very blessed to have talented people willing
Fantastic. I also want to recognize Trustee Sullivan, who has been the liaison from the board and kept us up to date and fought very hard in some of the budget meetings to get more money for the library. So let's hear it for So I don't know if any of the other members would like to say anything.
Just very quickly, I'd like to touch on something that you alluded to, Vicki, but I do want to recognize how important the library's been and how much the library has done when the Embassy Center has been down, between senior programs, between all kinds of other meetings that would have ordinarily been at the Embassy Club. The library really has become a more important resource and has gone out of its way, the staff, the board, the friends, everybody, to make sure that it was there for the village. So thank you.
Anybody else?
I just want to congratulate Vicki and Sandra for everything that you girls are doing. I know you personally, so I know how passionate you are. Sandra, fantastic job with our website. I'm going to go check it out more deeply. But really, congrats. I think that it is an amazing combination. Is, you know, three women that are just here right now, but I know that you guys have a, as you describe, a combination of talent right now that it is just a fantastic momentum. So I'm very, very excited for the library, and you two are going to do an amazing job together with Elizabeth. I have no doubt about that. So thank you for donating your time.
There's just two more things I'd like to say before I quit talking, or at least for the moment. I think it would be very remiss of me not to thank the many, many merchants in Dobbs Ferry that are coming forward to help us. You know, Chipotle did the fundraiser for us. We had the gentleman from Rochambeau who had a wonderful little event called the Gen Thing, which actually is highlighted on our website right now. And that particular, he donated part of his profits to us. And, you know, Double Days has been very helpful and supported us, so has Captain Lawrence. I mean, it's amazing the people that are coming forward to start to help us make the connection to make our library strong, and we're so thankful for that. And there's another thing I'd like to bring up too, is one of the things that I'm really excited about is there's a new program starting in July where it's called It Takes a Village. And what we're encouraging is for parents who work during the week and don't have the opportunity to come to the different children's programs to come on Saturday and read a story to the children that are there. And we're thinking if they come in and read a story related to their business or perhaps one of their children's favorite books, it'll give the parents a chance to meet each other, meet the children at a younger age, even before they go into school, because this is where the bonds in our community start, is when we get involved in our community. And our community should start with the library. And just before the last note I'd like to say is selfless promotion of my kayaking event, which will be on Thursday. I'm doing a kayaking presentation with one of my friends, Lee Reiser. We're going to be talking about safe kayaking, what kind of boat you should have, what kind of gear you should have, and also some of the photographs I've taken over the years of kayaking will be on display. But,
Great.
you know, it's a wonderful thing, and I thank you for your support, and I look forward to moving the friends along.
Thanks, Vicki.
Thank you.
Sandra and Elizabeth. And the board will continue to support it through the newsletter and support the events and everything. So just keep us posted, and Liz and Christy do a great job in getting that information out to the village. Thanks.
Thank you.
Next, we have Matt Rosenberg and the PTSA and the Traffic Committee presentation. We have representation from both groups, and they put together a plan of attack to continue to, I guess, attack safety and security for pedestrians.
I don't know if attack.
That doesn't work that well.
Educated.
Educate.
This is, you said engineering, enforcement, you know, this is the.
That works good.
This is the educate portion.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. All right, thank you very much for having us, and I also want to thank a lot of the people who are in this room, and particularly Donna, for all of the work that everybody has done in creating what we're going to talk about today. Just to recap. recap, everybody probably remembers these signs that have been all over Duxbury for the last 3 months. And everything looked squashed here. They were rectangular in real life. They led to a lot of good things. They led to, anecdotally, a lot of people slowing down, paying more attention. They led to a lot more community involvement in making sure that we're looking after each other in terms of keeping our kids and everybody else safe as they walk and bike around the town. We deployed over 100 signs during this, all volunteers, mainly that came from the PTSA and others who we invited to participate through various 10522 Facebook groups. People have anecdotally said that people seem to be slowing down and being a little bit less aggressive, particularly in some of the highly signed areas of blind turns and other places around Dobbs Ferry. We supported this campaign with letters to the editor. There were 4 or 5 letters to the editor that happened since February when we first addressed you on the topic. And just to let you know, last week Rob and I went around to keep our promise to you guys, and we took every sign that we could find that was in the right of way, and they're now in my garage. So anybody wants a souvenir,
I'll drop mine off tomorrow.
I gave you a couple right in the street, Bob. So we want to talk about next year, and we did this. We came up with a plan that is all about a 12-month plan to promote pedestrian, cyclist, and driver safety in Dobbs Ferry. I am here as a representative of the PTSA Safe Routes Committee. We did this in collaboration with Rob and members of the Village Traffic Committee. We have the support of Lisa Brady and the Dobbs Ferry School District. And we consulted, of course, with a lot of people sitting on that dais. Bob, Donna, we spent time with Charlene, and Rick, who I guess left after the pinning happened. We're here tonight to ask for the support of the entire Board of Trustees as we want to implement this plan. And it starts with you guys. We want to go. Signs were really effective. They did contribute a little bit to some visual pollution around the city, around the village. I'll admit that. And we want to do a lot more than that with the campaign over 1819 and a lot less signage. Some signs, and I'll show you a couple, but through a lot of other tactics, a lot more messaging through Facebook groups, utilizing the mayor's newsletter, PTSA emails, which go to everybody with a kid in grades K through 12. A much more organized sort of letter writing campaign to the enterprise and other local outlets. A little bit more public relations. We actually got some great coverage both in news and editorial from the enterprise over the last several months. We're looking forward to more of that. And we want to augment that with some paid advertising as well. And of course also educational messages that are going to go through the schools that are primarily directed at kids and crossing, things like that. But it starts, as I said, it starts with the board and it starts with a resolution. We would like to declare, we'd like you to declare Dobbs Ferry to be a walkable, bikeable village. And very important that part of that declaration is that all traffic laws are enforced. And the way after a resolution tonight that we want to make that clear to everybody coming into the village is there are 4 main entry points to the village of Dobbs Ferry. And at 3 of the 4 of them, there are signs announcing that you are now no longer in Ardsley, Birmingham, or Hastings, but you're in Dobbs Ferry. The 4th is at Ogden, just above Rivertown Square, which is not literally the border, but a main entry point to people who aren't just going to the stores down there. And we want to have a sign that declares that we are a walkable, bikeable village in which all traffic laws are enforced. We want those signs to become part of the welcome message at the So in doing that, what we want to follow that with is a sequence of 5 different areas of focus that will bring up over the course of the 18-19 year, beginning in September. We want to post temporary signs announcing what those areas of focus are when they kick in at those 4 entry points and at the village gateway, memorialized with that little yellow box over there, and not permanently affixed to the welcome sign, but subordinate to the welcome signs at the 3 and maybe 4 entries to the village. We want to support this through education, PR, letters, social media, email, paid ads. As part of this, we've spoken to, and I think we've delivered a long document that I won't get into in great detail today to all of you that speaks to the timing and the details of what the police will do, what the village will do, what the PTSA will do to support these areas of focus. And some of it, in our last campaign, we were focused on driver education. There's no sidewalks here. Please watch out for children. Don't hit another kid, please. But this is also going to involve student education, particularly around use of crosswalks and paying attention to not only this as you're walking down the street. We want to keep it fresh over the course of a year, so there's 5 areas of focus. First one is the school speed zone. The second is distracted driving, and I think subordinate to that also, distracted walking. Crosswalk safety, that's focused on both drivers and pedestrians. The effects of speeding, to make it really clear what the difference is between 20, 30, and 40 miles an hour in case something goes wrong while you're on the road. And also, every spring I notice the new crop of drivers that appears on the streets, first with white-knuckled, very nervous parents in the passenger seat, and then on their own with a lot of their fellow student passengers. And there's a great, and I remember well myself, there's a great freedom that comes from that, but there's also an astonishing amount of responsibility that kids transition into at different rates. So we want to sort of support some new driver education as well, outside of the rituals of the driver education. So Bob told me to keep this to 7 minutes, so I'm not going to go too much longer. But what we're asking for is the resolution tonight. That will allow us, we have, this is amazing, we have a budget in the PTSA budget that needs to be spent in fiscal 18, which ends in 4 days. So if we get you guys to give us that resolution, we will go and start to pre-order the signage that we need. We're going to buy some half-page ads in the enterprise. We're going to ask as part of the resolution that the village fund a permanent sign that would be affixed to the welcome signage that declares us to be a walkable, bikeable village in which all traffic laws are enforced. And then we're off to the races in September. That was bad we put. We're with the school speed zone. That will, we believe the DOT will be installing signage for over the summer. So that's the broad plan. You all have the detailed plan in the documents that we emailed everybody. We're happy to answer, we're happy to answer questions that you
Well, the plan is extremely detailed, and Don is our liaison to the traffic committee, and we've pretty much anchored that for the last 8 years, I guess.
Yeah.
So Don, I think, knows as much as anybody about this whole situation, but I think the board's priority is the safety of our, pedestrians and bikers, and especially our children. I mean, we all know it was a big effort to get the state to move, to declare the high school, middle school area a school zone. which seems incredible, right? I mean, you think it would be a snap of the fingers, but there's a lot of work that goes into this whole process. And I want to thank you. I know how much you put into this and how much you really sincerely care about the village to take this time to do all this. So thank you.
I just want to say that it's great that things are finally coming together. I mean, Rob knows how long we've been working to get something like this going. So, again, I want to thank, the mayor, the board. You guys have done a tremendous job. I also want to shout out to Rick Rivera and his wonderful traffic enforcement, because that really helped, and he's very supportive of this. Christy, are you working on the signs? Yeah, do shout out to Christy Nell, who is also helping with the design of the signs, so.
I just want to say that the idea of this campaign originated in Donna's first year on the travel. So it's taken us 8 years.
It's taken only 8 years, yeah.
You're trying to say government moves slowly? Rob?
You make it look easy.
I would just say thank you for working so collaboratively with the village, with the traffic committee, and with the village staff. And that's something that really, for this to be as effective as we know it can be, that needs to continue. Just because of the complexity and how comprehensive what you're trying to do is, it's critical that the village is involved so that there can be feedback and discussion in both directions. So thank you.
So we're ready to go, right? Financially, and
As soon as you pass a resolution.
so we're going to pass
start
that.
spending
Want
money.
to do that tonight?
We're going to do that tonight. I don't know if you're going to hang around, but it'll be a few minutes. But we'd love to have you hang around and watch the rest of the meeting.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Both committees, too.
I have a comment that I'd like to speak about with this.
Yes.
Now the time?
Yeah. Just state your name and your address.
Yes, my name is Ann Schneider, and I live on 100 Belden Avenue, and I've lived there for over 60 years, so I know all about the traffic and the sidewalks, and this has been going on forever. People aren't aware that Belden Avenue, which is really two parts. The first part from Broadway has a sidewalk, nice ones on both sides, but then it stops completely all the way to Washington Avenue. So that is something that, like, when I see that we're going to be designated as a walkable community, that's not true just a short distance from the high school and middle school. And Belden Avenue now has many new families, and that's a big change, and people are getting older. So that I don't want to, I would like something to be done for Belden Avenue, and I don't think
Right.
sidewalks are enough issue for that, but there's some other ways in which the traffic could be slowed down. And the two things I thought of was the curb, that they can build the curb out and put flowers so that it's a visual slowdown in flowers and planters. That's something that I'll be working with the community as well.
Well, we did do it, Donna, a traffic study.
Yeah, there've been a couple of traffic studies, but we just,
Always, yes, but nothing comes of that lately now. So.
it's called money, unfortunately. It's funding, this stuff is.
I don't think that like 3 planters would be a problem.
No, but, yeah, no, it's a great idea. We'll look into, but we've been trying to look at stuff section by section, because it took 8 years to get this. But, yeah, no, but I know Belden is on the radar for the traffic committee and on the PTSA as well.
And it
Yeah.
needs it before marijuana is approved, so we need to have it under control before that happens. So that, because it's bad enough now, it's a gateway right to Broadway for, all places. The other thing I would like to see there is a traffic sign saying 25 miles an hour, because nobody's doing that. But, and then back that up with the police reinforcement of tickets. So that would be, just know that I'm not having the walkable. Wow, I think I like the hands. So, see what
Thank you.
we come up with.
Thank you very much. We do, I know that signage was ordered through the traffic committee with the town of Greenberg for Clinton, I believe, and other areas.
Yeah.
Bellwood and things like that. So, yeah, so there will be additional signage. Also, we've looked at other things like actually painting on the street.
Well, yeah, it depends, each situation has to be
It's
taken
different,
differently,
yeah.
obviously, but
So there's a
we'll,
lot of things we're looking at that are new,
Minimal isn't so true.
right?
yeah.
And so we'll stay on top of that. Thank you for your words.
Oh.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Patricia Roberts. I live at 300 Broadway. I'm a school cross guard, and I would like to know if there's not a conflict of interest or whatever, if school cross guards could be consulted as you work on this committee. As a guard, and this will be my third year come fall, I have worked 9 school cross zones, but I work every afternoon at the high school. So I am crossing those kids at dismissal time. With all due respect to the adults in this community, the adults are not setting examples for the kids. The drivers are aggressive. The drivers are extremely distracted on the phones. The drivers, included with aggression, they are honking at each other. It's like the drivers have lost their manners. And the kids are all coming out in waves at dismissal time. So we're all there on the curb waiting to cross, and they are seeing what I see. I also, from working at the other cross lights in town, cross light and cross guard, it's very hard to keep school kids still to wait for the white cross light when adults are jaywalking. I know New York City, you work in New York City, whatever, it's a different deal. My son tells me that, he just moved to New York City. But you are having high school students, middle school students, and I literally borrow from Charlie Pellet's site, what is it, Subway style, about to get them to stay at crosslight.
Yeah.
So wait for the white crosslight, please. Move back from moving cars, stand back from moving cars. Just to get them to listen, because all they see are adults jaywalking, and it only takes one kid to start everybody else not listening. The other, one more concern that I have is, I believe this is going to happen sooner or later between the school and the police. There has to be a code of conduct for the kids when they are at every single crosswalk, because they are chatterboxes, they have everything in their ears, they have the buds, they have the cordless buds, they've got the headsets, they are on bikes, razors, skateboards. A code of conduct so that when we are going out into traffic to first, at least for me, and building as well as Joe, to stop cars first before we can tell them it's safe to cross over. They have to listen. They have to get rid of all of these distractions. Like someone said, we have a new crop of drivers every year. They have to learn to wait, because they're going to be waiting at the traffic lights in town when they are drivers. But they need to respect the cross guards, and at the high school, 99.9% do. And then there's a couple that don't. I've had one kid, I told him to cross, I even held everybody up so he could cross. I said, come on, cross over, go. And he goes, I'll take my sweet ass time. This starts in the home, obviously, but the kids need to have, there has to be a code of conduct when they are at, especially at the high school.
Right.
To Belden and to Maple and Broadway. And then the other problem that we have at Maple and Broadway is that has to be navigated in the afternoon by the drivers. So there's a lot of aggression, there's a lot of darting around, there's just a lot happening, and it's a very busy area. And if the kids don't listen, and if you have somebody like we do, unfortunately, that's skateboarding in traffic, that kid's gonna be hit, or that kid's gonna cause an accident, or a copycatter is gonna repeat the behavior and cause an accident. So that's why I'm just asking if maybe the
Yeah, we'll get you, thank you for your comments, we'll get you involved.
Well, I don't, it
And-
doesn't have to be necessarily me, but I'm just saying.
No, but you have
we
such-
need feedback from the cross guards because each
Yeah.
side.
Right, if it would be great if you could contact the members of the PTSA, see if it's a school, or the traffic committee, if you want to talk to your fellow crossing guards and come up with some ideas, because this particular program will be educational
Yeah.
parts of it as well.
Yeah.
And you do know that we have gotten a school zone, so
Yeah.
things are going to be changing there a little bit, hopefully.
Yeah.
Thank
But it would
you,
be great to have your input.
thank you. I see you out there in the afternoon. You're doing a good job. Frank? How are you?
How you doing? Frank Farrington, 89 Ashford Avenue. I'm here for the Historical Society, so I'll give you 12 L Street, Mead House, New York. Just one quick point before I go into what I was going to talk about, and this is for the Safe Routes to School group. My wife worked for the school for many years, and she was detailed with Lieutenant Shalok, who is now retired from the police department. They worked together to have blinking amber lights as you enter the school zone. They did the necessary work with the state of New York DOT and jumped through all the hoops and the like. And they're located one by the Dobbs Diner and one by the Montessori School. That was done many years ago. I just think as part of this project, maybe they can look into either having the lights redone if possible. Having those big red lights there as you enter that, it gives it a little bit of warning. And that work was done already, so it's just a question of getting it fixed.
I think that was part of the school zone plan.
Good, all right, that's great then. I'm glad that's being addressed. Okay, I'm here for really a couple things. Well, a couple short-term things and one really that segues to the fall. But just to, there's been some flyers going around, but just to get the word out here to TV land here. On July 4th, we have our annual Thomas Cullen picnic in the park. That starts at 3 o'clock, the opening ceremonies. And as Betsy Hunter says, before the fireworks, before the opening ceremonies, we're inviting everyone to come for a ceremony at Willow Point Park, which everybody doesn't know, it's the southernmost point of Waterfront Park near the marina. We're going to dedicate 2 commemorative panels that talk about Dobbs Ferry's role in the American Revolution. They were installed a few days ago with great job from our DPW. It's not an easy site to work, so my compliments to Stephen Trezor, the department foreman, his park foreman, Danny Gardner, and his group. They did a great job and got it done, as the saying goes. So we're going to dedicate them around 2 o'clock on July 4th, and we're inviting everyone to go there. We have, Bob, we're going to ask you to speak. What I'll do is I'll have some speakers to talk a little bit of background so you can fill it.
The historical part,
yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
I went down to see them, Frank. They really came out beautiful, and they're in this gorgeous spot there on the river.
Yeah, so it'll be a formal dedication, and then we have actually a descendant of the Dobbs family and the Stevens family, which was the western terminus of the ferry. So she'll be there. She's part of our board. So we're asking everybody to take a few minutes and come out there. And as that ceremony winds down, we're going to present the village with that historical flag that Betsy's been talking about. So hopefully we'll process over from Willow Point to the flagpole and raise that flag. And we just hope it'll be a nice day to just designate Dobbs Ferry informally as a historic town. Just to move forward to the fall a little bit, actually to the start pretty soon. The mayor and I looked around. We're kind of, there's really 3 entities, the Historical Society, the high school, the school district, and the village itself. But there are monuments throughout the village, usually war monuments, World War I, World War II, and the American Revolution, and to possibly refurbish some of them. They're long in the tooth, and as a board, the Historical Society took it upon themselves to have the World War I monument restored, which it's a flagpole pedestal that sits on a lawn at our Dobbs Ferry High School. And our plan is to have it refurbished. We've started the ball with our own funds, and we'll have a fundraiser throughout the fall with a raffle with prizes awarded on September 23rd, which is our annual meeting. And we're doing that for 2 reasons. Obviously, the funds will help lighten our load, but we thought that there are many families and people who have either moved away and are still around town that would like to be part of that restoration. We think that's important. The mayor and I looked at the original dedication, and it was done by a VFW post, the Rochambeau VFW post, which is long since disbanded. But that was dedicated, I believe, in 1925. reached out, well, who's gonna pick up the ball? So I thought, as the president, this would be a good thing for a historical society to take on with some help. So that's what we're going to do, and hopefully have a rededication ceremony on November 11th, which happens to be a Sunday this year, which will be the 100th anniversary of the armistice. The day the guns went silent in Europe for at least 20 years or so. So we just want to make everybody aware of that. And that's really, one thing about Stu Storms, because when we talk about families, I thank you for recognizing Stu's passing. The Storms family goes back since the 1600s in this village, and Stu was our treasurer emeritus. He was a banker by trade, and he handled he was our treasurer for many years, so I took over for him. And if you look on the monuments, there's our monument down in Memorial Park. There's a Harold Storms that was killed in Korea. There's another Harold Storms, and probably a grandfather that served in World War I. So these names are still around the village, and I think it's important that we pay a tribute to them. As Lincoln said, we really can't forget what they did when he talked at the battlefield of Gettysburg. And I think doing these types of things will ensure that we didn't forget their service and their sacrifice. Well, thank you for your time, and we'll see you on.
Frank, thank you for attending. We have the Road to Freedom, right? The Road to Freedom in August.
Yes, we do it. If Ellen, you want to come up?
August 19th. Is it August 19th? Yes.
August 19th, and our treasurer, Ellen Klein, one of our trustees, will talk about that.
Great.
Well, I'm actually item number 7 on the agenda, but here I am. It is August 19th. It will be our 13th annual commemoration of the Road to Freedom. And I hope the village is invited. I hope the community will turn out. I was here tonight to get approval to hang some banners and our avenue banners around the gateway. And there will be publicity that's starting, and I look forward to seeing everyone on that Sunday.
Great, thanks. Thanks, Ellen. Frank, thank you. Oh.
Hi, my name is Yu Wyman. I live on Palisade Avenue, and I've been here for 5 years, and I'm going to keep this very, very short. First, I think Safe Routes to School Committee, I appreciate your designating Dobbs Ferry. I think it's going great. I'm a parent. I know a lot of parents would probably like to be here, but they can't because of their children. I recently heard on social media that there's been a crackdown on biking at the waterfront. Last year, my son learned how to ride a bike at the waterfront. I would like to know what the status of that is and if anything can be done for children. You know, there aren't a lot of flat, safe places for kids to ride bikes.
I know I see kids riding bikes down there. I don't think any children have been arrested that I know of, but there is a sign up there that they do not want biking at the way. I think there's a sign up, as I recall.
There's at least one.
Yeah.
I was checking today. There's a sign that says, dogs on leashes.
No biking, right? Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know there was a crackdown. I'm not aware of that, but someone may have said something.
Maybe crackdown is too strong.
I'll check.
Somebody was.
I'll check with the chief, but.
I think that is because there are kids that have,
Older kids too.
older kids that have run into smaller children. There is just such a diversity of ages, and then it becomes dangerous even with the children with the scooters and other sorts of items with wheels that then it become a hazard. There's dogs that they are sensitive, so I frequent the waterfront a lot, and I have seen my fair share of little incidents here and there, so I think that that's what generated that rule.
I have seen incidents as well, and I think, to your point, everyone needs to be respectful and aware of their environment. I wish there was another place where children could learn how to ride a bike that was flat, but other than like flattening the village, they can't ride in the parking lot. So that's my only comment. So,
I mean,
The Putnam right away. Take them to the Putnam right away. You know where that is?
yeah, that's That's a biking path there.
Springhurst is flat.
Thank you. Does anybody else want to speak at courtesy
I have the same.
for the floor? Sonia?
Hi, Sonia Turjanian, 43 Belden Avenue. I'm here to talk about our application for historic district status on my block of Belden Avenue. Last summer, my neighbors and I spent the summer creating this application for historic district status. That includes a historic district nomination form, but it also includes individual property forms for all of the properties in a proposed district. And these forms include lots of photographs, contemporary historical, statement of significance, a narrative architectural description, lots of research, and a really elaborate evaluation form that sort of helps us determine which structures are contributing, non-contributing, etc. So this was a lot of work for my neighbors and me. And on September 5th, we submitted this to the building department, and they scheduled and noticed a public hearing before the AHRB, and we had a public hearing on October 23rd. And that was an opportunity for the community to come forward and express their support or lack of support for the district, and everybody who showed up supported it. And the next part of the process would be for the AHRB to send a memo to the Board of Trustees, either in support of this application or denying it. And knowing how busy the AHRB is, I helped them out by writing the memo for them, because it's a pretty detailed document that needs to include a lot of information about the history of the properties and what needs to be preserved and how many buildings are on each parcel and that kind of thing. And I gave it to them with the caveat that they could take early, that they could alter it as they wanted to, or they could throw it in the trash, whatever, but I thought it would be helpful for them to have a draft to look at. So I gave them that on October 24th. It's been 8 months, and the AHRB has done nothing with our application. We wanted this process to be, rigorous, because we wanted people to take it seriously, and we wanted to create something meaningful and permanent for the village to serve as a guidepost for people who want to alter their properties in the future. We took this very seriously. Unfortunately, I don't feel like the AHRB has taken it seriously. I've done everything I can think of to ask them to move this along. I've met with Mike Patino, I've talked to him, I've emailed him. I know many of you have also talked to him. We seem to all get the same answer from him, which is that he'll write the memo in 2 weeks. And he's been telling me 2 weeks for 8 months. So it is listed under the powers and duties of the AHRB to review applications for historic district status and refer a recommendation to the Board of Trustees. They're not fulfilling that duty. So the solution that I would like to propose is that we add something into the legislation that clearly we should have put in there originally, with a time limit on how long they can spend reviewing these applications. I think Darius has already worked on some wording for that. But I also really would like you to encourage you to make this time limit retroactive so that it can apply to our application, so that we can go ahead and keep it moving and bring it to you, to the Board of Trustees, so that you can look at it, have another public hearing, and decide whether Belden Avenue should be a historic district. In the last 8 months, many houses have been bought and sold on our block. Construction projects have begun. Construction projects have been completed. People keep asking me, do I need to apply for a certificate of appropriateness? Do I need to adhere to the rules of the historic district? And I say, I don't know, because we're in limbo. And we've been in limbo for 8 months, and I just don't think it's fair to the homeowners. So thank you for anything you can do to help out with this.
Thank you.
I'll leave you with a copy. Can I speak now? I want to support Sonia. I'm in Schneider again, and I'm also
Thanks,
from
Sonia.
Belden, but she has the sidewalk section. But I would like this will
Seen
be
it.
so impressed that this is a real gem of a part of history, and it's well done. So I don't know whether this, since things are getting stalled, if you stall this, you would approve it that night, or figure out a way to get it done.
Thank you. Anyone else for courtesy? No? Okay. So, I'd like to take a motion to appoint Ms. Raven David as a member of the Ad Hoc Downtown Improvement Task Force. Do I have a motion? Trustee Nell, second. Trustee DeRozzi, all in favor? Unanimous. Do I have a motion to establish an ad hoc committee to look at potential revisions to the zoning code? The following members will be appointed to the committee. Trustee Sullivan will be the chair. Regular members, Peter Hoffman, Zoning Board. Stephen Hunter, Planning Board. Ed Manley, Building Inspector. Dwight Douglas, Village Planning Consultant. Michael Patino, AHRB. And Anna Markowitz, the Planning Board alternate member. Have a motion?
Well, I'd just like to have a little bit of a discussion about this and just make clear to the public that this is a precursor, as there had been another committee prior to the last Ad Hoc Citizens Committee, to work on issues as it related to, priorities as far as amending the building code. So there will be an opportunity for people to have an input, but the idea was to start with some people who are very familiar with the code, and not to assign duties without her permission, but Trustee Sullivan has agreed to also be a sort of more formal conduit to take input as to ideas and issues, excuse me, that residents think would be an important part of this process, either now or when there's a citizens committee. And I'd also volunteer to listen and pass along any ideas that anyone has. So this is the beginning of an inclusive process. I think it's a great idea. I just want to make sure that people are clear that it's not it's substitute.
Input from the community.
Broader
Yeah.
input.
Right, that's a good point, thanks, Larry. So even once this starts and we start looking at things, we may have subcommittees of this that look at specific topics that may be recommended by the main committee.
Or in addition to the subcommittees, we may decide to have other people who have other interests in volunteering, so they could attend it and offer other suggestions, like we did previously, and I think it worked out well with all those citizens. So.
Great.
And this is, I think the intent was that this is also going to be a public meeting for anyone who would like to attend.
A workshop.
Workshops.
Workshops, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Great. Okay, so do I have a motion? Trustee DeRozzi, second. Trustee Taylor, all in favor? Unanimous? Okay, I'd like a motion to consider a resolution declaring the village of Dobbs Ferry to be a walkable and bikeable village. Do I have a motion? Deputy Mayor Cassell, second. Trustee DeRozzi, all in favor? Unanimous.
And then we've got to make it true, right?
Yes.
Yes. Consider a motion to approve orders number 3 and number 4 for June 2018 as recommended by the village treasurer. Trustee Taylor, do you have a motion?
Motion.
Second. Trustee Rosillo, all in favor? Unanimous. Consider a motion to award the bid for concrete sidewalks, concrete curbing, blacktop repair to the lowest bidder, Pat Paving. Do I have a motion? Trustee Sullivan, second. Trustee Taylor, all in favor? Unanimous. Consider a motion to award the bid for equipment rental, labor rates to the lowest bidder, Tom Bucci Excavating. Do I have a motion? Trustee Taylor, second. Trustee Nell, all in favor? Unanimous. Consider a motion to approve a request from Ms. Ellen Klein of the Dobbs Ferry Historical Society to post signage and banners for the 2018 Road to Freedom Walk on August 19th. Do I have a motion? Trustee Rosillo, second. Trustee DeRossi, all in favor? Unanimous. Consider a resolution authorizing submission of grant application to the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation for Main Street tree planting.
Mayor, this has been seconded really by the Tree Consortium. Kathy Dean was spoken to, and she's very much in favor of this application for a grant.
That's great. I just, the grant is fantastic.
I don't know whether we'll get it, but
Yeah.
we're making the application for it.
But have they started looking at the type of tree or the?
This takes so long that
Takes a long
it doesn't
time.
really, yeah, and there's certain types, we talked to them, there's certain types of trees that are acceptable, and then it
Yeah.
goes lower, and clearly we'll look at
Right.
that particular type. So, yeah, and we're working in conjunction with them.
Great, okay. We certainly want trees that look great, but that are appropriate for the village. So do I have a motion? Trustee DeRossi, second. Trustee Sullivan, all in favor? Oh, discussion? All in favor. Consider a motion to approve a request for River Arts donation of $2,000 to support the 2018 studio tour, music tour, and other community events. Motion? Trustee Taylor, second. Trustee Rosillo, discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, minutes. Does anybody have any comments on the minutes? Okay, so can I have a motion? Trustee Nell? Second? Trustee Sullivan?
Trustee Nell can't vote on it.
Oh,
She wasn't here.
Good try,
And
good
your
try.
hand was up so quick.
I also.
It looked good.
Was
Trustee
that-
Taylor was there.
No,
Deputy
that wasn't
Mayor
there.
Gazelle. Trustee Sullivan, discussion, all in favor, unanimous. Correspondence and claims. Liz, do we have anything?
As a matter of fact, Mr. Mayor, yes. Our village resident, Scott Shevlin, came by Village Hall today, and he had written a letter to the Enterprise, which was published on June 1st, which he wanted me to share with the mayor, board, and the public, so if you'll bear with me. It reads as follows. To the editor, recently the Village of Dobbs Ferry hosted a Senior Citizens Week, May 14th to the 18th, a celebration of all that is good and decent about being a senior citizen in this village. We all know that our senior folks are the cornerstone of our town. Many were born in the area, attended local schools, married and raised families, so it was fitting that they be recognized for their many contributions. However, this would not have been possible without the many volunteers and others who did so much to make it a great success. Senior advocates Abby Kinnett and Pira Rislin, nutritionists Lindsay Schiff and Peter Wattenberg, Recreation Superintendent Kendra Garrison, Recreation Assistants Kyle Crawford and Brandon Brailsford, volunteers Fred and Carol Kearns, the Police Department, the Fire Department, the Department of Public Works, our chauffeurs Dennis Edwards and Anthony Cordina, Our Lady of Pompeii Church, and the Half Moon Restaurant. The seniors extend thanks for all involved, for all the kindness bestowed each day on their behalf. Scott Shevlin.
Well, thank you, Liz. I think everybody at Dobbs Ferry knows Scotty. I saw the letter in the Enterprise. He's a wonderful person. He's actually, I don't know whether he's the official or unofficial mayor of Dobbs Ferry, but he certainly gives me advice every time I walk past the deli across the street. go to one of the senior luncheons. He's a great guy, and also the announcer at our football games. So he's really a treasure for the community. Thanks, Liz. Anything else?
No, sir.
No? Charlene? Trustee DeRossi? Any?
I
No?
just want to share with the community that very soon, the Youth Council has been discussing some of the events that we're going to be hosting throughout the summer and the fall, and there is a lot on the pipeline. I don't have any specific details for the first day of the movie nights by the waterfront, but they are working in collaboration with Kendra, and the first movie is supposed to show on July 10th, so it should be very exciting to have movie nights by the waterfront. Also, the beautification committee is still looking for volunteers. The planters that we did back a few months back look amazing, so this seems to work. It really beautify our village. So I really encourage anyone that please would like to get involved to please join us. Also, it is sad for me to say that our friend Ricky Magic from the Magic Place in Cedar Street passed away. I was away in business and I could not be there to support, to say goodbye and to be there with his family. So I send my condolences to the family, and he definitely will be very much missed on Cedar Street and here in the village.
Right, thanks. I was down the waterfront. I saw Mary, the little island as you drive into the waterfront parking lot. The island there, she was down there, I think this morning, fixing up the flowers. And she's always seems to be at it. She's terrific.
Oh, she is. Mary's fantastic.
Really great. Thank you, Trustee DeRossi. Trustee Nell?
And if you're going to try and volunteer, then send your application to Liz at dobbsferry.com and hit volunteer now. The application will come to the nominating committee. You'll meet them, and they'll probably say you're awesome and go to the beautification committee. So the nominating committee is always looking for volunteers, and that's where you go to do it, dobbsferry.com. The Rivertown's Chamber of Commerce has their monthly meeting tomorrow night at 6. It's at the Aligned Center, which is in Irvington by Red Hat. And what else?
We desperately need people for the CAB,
Yes.
Conservation Advisory Board. And I think we're down a few people there.
Yeah.
And it's really a helpful committee. It addresses the need for conservation, development, management, and protection of natural resources, and things of that nature, and the improvement of the quality of life, right, in the village. So it's an important committee, and we really need people for that. So if there's anybody that knows anybody that would be interested, have them go through on the website, right, Liz? They can get the application. Okay, thank you, Trustee. Yeah, anything else?
You can also check out on the website. Liz has done an awesome update to the upper right-hand corner. It has a new button. It says, "How do I, .. And when you click it, it answers all of the questions that you probably are going to the site for, like how do I get a parking permit? How do I contact the Board of Trustees? And it's just plain English, and it's up there in the right-hand corner, and it took her a lot of work, so I wanted to thank her for putting that together for Thanks, Liz.
Good job.
Very good. Trustee Sullivan?
I don't have any updates, but I wanted to ask Charlene if she could give us like a facilities update, if there's one on the 99 Cedar and the Embassy Center, 'cause I don't think we've done that in a couple meetings.
99 Cedar, if you go down there, you will see a lot that's striped, and that is in the last legs of being finished. Give us a month. We've ordered the kiosk. There are some things, I went down there with Ed this morning, and there are some things that we have some issues with, and they're really small things, but they'll get fixed. You'll see some garbage there, well, you know, construction materials, that will be cleared out in the next week. Some tree stumps, that will be cleared out also within the next week or two, so that's going along very nicely. The Embassy Center, the notice of the award of bids went out. Darius and George Palmer from High Engineering are working on the contracts. We're told that that should be done in the next few weeks. I'll sign it, they'll sign it first, I'll sign it, and then hopefully they'll start work soon thereafter. The firehouse floor, the new floor, which will have we'll be able to hold the new fire trucks, because they're a little heavier than the others, the ones that we have now. Will be done before the fire trucks come in, which is lucky. And it should start within the next week or two. The steps going down to 99 Cedar, we very, very purposely did not start it as yet in order to get the parking lot done, and also not to disturb the neighbors too much. We've already disturbed them, we need to give them a break, and then we'll start again.
For your kindness.
The pool is going into its last legs in the sense of the design, not the pool that we have now. And we will be presenting that to the board. We hope to start work or have the bids out by August and start work as soon as possible thereafter. So we will have a new pool by next year, God willing.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
Trustee Keller?
I don't have any announcements this evening, thank you.
Thanks. Trustee McDonald?
I don't have anything either.
Deputy Mayor? Nothing? A few things. There will be only one Board of Trustees meeting in July and August. The meeting dates in July is the 17th, and August is the 14th. So July 17th and August 14th. There's some smiles up here. We have the Jazz Forum Arts Summer Concert Series that started this past week, and the first night was packed down there. Seemed to be a lot of fun. So that's every Wednesday night from 6:30 to 8. We have the Farmers Market on Fridays from 10 to 4. I think Vicki earlier announced the kayaking on the Hudson River and beyond. There's going to be a presentation, and the movie coming up, wow, it's pretty good. June 29th at 7, the teen movie is Black Panther, which was a big hit in the theaters. We also have the Shredder, right, Liz?
Yes.
June 28th and July 12th. I guess we take advantage of that down there.
No, it's for residential,
Oh.
not for a
Not for-
larger scale.
Oh, do it, huh?
Right.
Okay. All right, and we talked about the Road for Freedom, August 19th, and the July 4th celebration. I have gotten calls and emails that, is it on July 4th? Yes, it's on July 4th. So it's always a lot of fun. I think it kicks off at 2 o'clock Willow Point, and then the festivities begin at 3. We had the graduation last couple of weeks. We had the stepping up ceremony this week. And we had I think a nice, at Pastor Drew, South Presbyterian, where we addressed questions on immigration issues that have surfaced recently, and the board had made an announcement about that. So thank you all very much, and we'll adjourn.